We're live. Hello and welcome to Free the Mind UK, a chat with a therapist. My name's Dave Carson. I'm your host this evening. I've got a very, very, very special guest tonight in the way of Jirsch. She's an amazing lady. I'm really excited about talking about what she's going to be talking about in a vision training. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Anne. Anne is a leading world pioneer of future life progression. Which is quite amazing. She's an author of best-selling books. She's a keynote speaker and an international trainer. She's appeared on numerous radio stations and television. And like I said, tonight she's going to be talking about future vision training. But before we bring her on, we're going to play our super duper intro video.
Not sure what therapy to choose? Free the Mind UK presents A Chat with a Therapist. Join us live for an up-close informal discussion of the various holistic therapies available, helping you make that important choice.
Anne, what a joy to have you back on again, because you were actually my only ever, but you were my second guest when I first started doing this.
I didn't know that.
I know you didn't. I didn't tell you that, did I? But, I didn't really know what I was doing then. But hopefully I've got an idea of what I'm doing now anyway. And
it didn't show. There you go. It didn't show. No, it was seamless. That was fine.
That's not what Bob Burns said when I had him on. It was a nightmare. I was in a hotel. We had really bad internet, and he was like, "Oh, David, this is the worst interview I've ever." He was joking with me. Do you know what I mean? It was hilarious, and he promised to come back on again like a month later. We did. We had a great chat, and it was all seamless internet. Yeah, it was really, really good. So Anne, I know that you sort of started off as a is it like a tarot reader medium?
Yes, I've always got cards nearby. Look, I've even got them there. I've always got cards. I love cards.
And obviously, I believe that there was a progression into future life progression from there, yeah, which you've obviously made your mark in the world of future life progression. A world pioneer, which is fantastic. It's amazing, really interesting subject, and that's what we sort of chatted about last time when you were on. And so and future vision training, I've got no idea what it is, if I'm honest with you. So this is all raw for me. So maybe you can tell me, what is it, and tell what's it all about, and how did it come along, and all that sort of stuff.
I'll do a quick recap of how I got to where I am, and then why this was the next step. Okay, so I started off reading tarot cards, did that for many, many years, started gaining a great fascination with past life regressions. So I had to self-teach myself. So that's why I went and learned hypnotherapy, because I thought I'd better have some bloody certificate or other. You feel like you should do it.
Yeah.
And I did get into clinical hypnotherapy for quite a long time, but I'm really into the past life. And just a quick recap, in case people are wondering, I was working with some military guys, and we were trying to find out something from the past, go into regression. We all jumped forward and started seeing the future. So what we did, we saw the attack on the Twin Towers 3 weeks before it happened, and it just really shook us to the core. Went through. I mean, at the time, we just thought, well, that went wrong, because we were trying to see the past, and we didn't. We was obviously looking at current. We went up the pub. We went up the pub. Went, that was a waste of a day. Thought we got it wrong. Of course, 3 weeks later, when it happened, we really were shell shocked. It was horrendous, because we didn't know enough to stop it. So I started to experiment with looking into the future, and we kept predicting world events. And one of the self-help gurus advised us to date our predictions and monitor them, which we started to do. And then I started working with clients, taking them into the future. And what I loved was what they saw at, say, 5 years happen much sooner. And that was it. That's when I knew I had to work with it. 'Cause you have so many dead ends, you work so hard, and there's so many decisions to make, so many options to actually be able to fast track somebody's life and find the best possible path. That did it for me. So I've been teaching future life progression for 20 years. And I'll tell you what happened with the future vision. a lot of clients were coming to me and they weren't coping. They weren't coping with the amount of change, the amount of information, that the world was escalating, and it still is. The rate of change was just too much for people. It's like if you've got a therapy business and you've always done that, and it's brought you a certain amount of clients, all of a sudden that don't work anymore because everything's changed. What do you do then? And that was the kind of thing I was seeing only in lots of different fields of work. Whatever field they were in, it kept changing. So I started to really look into the future, to monitor the changes, but also what strategies do we need? Because we need different strategies to thrive in the future than we did 10 years ago, last year, even 6 months ago, or even now. We need to have totally different strategies, work in a different way. So I usually I write a book in 6 months. I spent 5 years sort of delving into things, writing stuff. And the book came out first week of the first lockdown, which was cool. Because I said people would be working from home, and everyone went, of course they were. They're going to feel isolated. Of course they were. I went, see?
Wow.
People said, no, there won't be masses of change. That was great from that point of view, but it was terrible from the point of view of promotion because everything.
Anyway. Then the internet, Zoom and everything, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I just had to change everything to online. I just had to move all the training online. I really weren't sure about doing that, but it's gone brilliant. But yes, the future vision now, it is coaching to help. Look, people, what see so many people, especially in therapies, and they train in something. By the time they've trained in it, loads of other people are doing the same thing. They've spent a load of money. They're good at what they do, but they're just not going to be able to grow their business. You kind of got to be ahead of the game and take a bit of a better path. And that's one of the things I love working with. And the other thing is most therapists do too many different things. And you just go, no, we really got to find you and your brilliance, not all the training. They just keep taking more courses thinking that's going to put them ahead, and it don't. It just runs their head hard. So,
I think that a lot.
So that's why I've developed Future Vision Coaching. It's kind of like a program where I take people through a series of steps where we really see them, really get into them, what they're brilliant at, how we can make the most of them, that find their tribe, and their tribe encompasses a number of different levels. And really you've got to be able to live it and feel it and breathe it and taste it, what your future self who's brilliant, who's already there. Today, we have to go into the future and work backwards. It's the only way to get where we want. If by the time you've learned something now and you finish the course and got good at it, it's too late. And then you're on to the next thing. So that's why I developed it. And I wrote the book, and then from that I developed the training. So I've got Future Vision coaches, and it's been. I'm still developing it because I download information.
How long is it? How long have you been doing the Future Vision coaching then?
The coaching I started. I started it less than a year ago. The actual coaching program.
Wow.
Yeah. I really.
So I understand why you're still developing it, because it's
I still am.
That's quite exciting as well.
It is, and it was a lot of work. It's just because it's easy to work with, but I've had to come up with a lot of different strategies. Very easy for coaches to work with, but for me, it was a lot of work to put together. Really a lot of work, and I wanted to get it just really good, because it's all right if it's something I'm doing. I'm going into the future to find out the information, so I have to keep going into the future, finding the information, coming back, trying it out. So it takes longer. But I've done 3 trainings in the UK, one in Dubai, and I'm about to take it to. I'm in talks to take it to Norway and French-speaking countries. So that's the steps that are coming up. America will come up, because Americans are great to work with.
Sounds fascinating. My God. So I was going to ask you, when you're doing the coaching, the training, are you actually taking the people themselves into their own future, and they're seeing what potentially, is it like potentialities? Is there lots of different things that they could be doing, or is there like a specific thing that really stands out?
Yeah, that is the whole that is the point. Obviously we've got a number of possibilities, but we want to find their absolute best future, their absolute best. So we take them to a point where they're absolutely at their best and they're thriving. The thing is, it really is, therapists do too many things, and it's a list of what they've trained in, and nobody cares what you've trained in. They really don't. It's like, what are you going to do for me? Are you going to fix me?
Absolutely.
If you've ever been to a therapist, I have. I don't care what certificates. No, I want to know.
Exactly that.
Yeah,
no one ever asked to see your certificates, do they?
No, I've been asked twice in 45 years, and my answer's been the same. I've got a computer upstairs, a pile of certificates and a printer. What do you want me to print off? Brain surgeon? Whatever you want, I'll print it off. Doesn't matter, does it?
Oh my God.
I know people that can paper their walls with certificates, and they don't get people. To me, the major thing is really getting people, really getting inside people, seeing them. That's one thing we do in coaching. I love that. You just take something and go, no, you're bloody brilliant at that. No, let's develop that.
Yeah, so often you will spot their strength. They don't see it themselves, do they? I'm guessing, you know.
Yeah, they can do. Yeah. I mean, so answering what your previous question. So what I do is I give them the background. I explain each area. So each section, so it might be morning, afternoon. I take them through a certain procedure. So I explain it. I demonstrate it on somebody, or I demonstrate it on one person, so they see it in action. Then they go into breakout rooms, if it's online, and work on each other. So they get to experience the session as a client, but also as a therapist, and they get to have that. And I find by doing it in the different ways and giving them all the paperwork, the guidelines, they've got all the tools. There's some brilliant trainers out there, but if they don't demonstrate, I find I don't use it. I don't end up using it. I like to see it demonstrated and see it in action. Then I kind of get it more. But we're all processing different ways.
When someone's just in front of you talking about it, it's just not the same as a demonstration. It really makes a difference. Definitely to me. Obviously, some people get it, but I don't. I have to see it, in action. Otherwise, my brain just doesn't compute at all.
Well, it's also getting people to immediately go and work on each other, because that's how you build their confidence. I love it that when they walk away after 3 days, they get it. That after 3 days, they're confident because they've been doing it on a number of people, receiving it. They can see how it works, but they've also done it and had a good result. So that really builds confidence. I really think that you can finish a training and not do anything with it. And I know years ago when I did the NLP with Richard Bandler, and at the end of it, they give you a manual, and there was a few bits. I'm thinking, did I do that? I'm not sure. And I thought, I won't start this right now. I'll go away and study the manual.
Yeah.
And then Richard Bandler come out on stage, and he's like, he'd either give you a 3-hour talk before he lets you go home on the final day, or he says 2 words. He walked out. All he said was, go out and make some mistakes. And that blew me away. And I thought, I haven't got to be perfect. I'll get out there. By the next morning, I was using it on clients.
Yeah.
That's what
absolute great point you made there, because I think a lot of people, that's what they do. They do other courses because they want to be perfect before they have the balls to actually, be in front of a client. And you just got to do it, haven't you? You just got to do it. And we're going to make mistakes along the way, but unfortunately for the people we're working with, in the early days, but hopefully you're not, nothing too bad. But that's how you get better. You've got to start somewhere, haven't you?
You have, and just it's like when I do the FLP practitioner, I say just go and take one part. If you're not confident, take one part. You might master just the past life regression, or just taking people into their future lifetime. You can use it just for one aspect and get really good at that. Then think, I'll try another bit now. Try another aspect. You don't have to do everything and know every technique in the whole thing straight away. Build yourself up. But the key thing is to get straight out there. But I find by getting them to do a lot of work on each other, during the training, they walk out there. They're so much better for it, definitely. And I've had to learn to keep out the way. It's you know, you feel like you should be there all the time. But the bits that wow them isn't what I do, it's what they do on each other. That's when they get really excited.
No, absolutely. And there's that thing as well where you can have like I don't know, a WhatsApp group, and they can all work on each other after the trainings as well, which is very useful, you know.
Yeah, I've got a Facebook page, a private one, just for people that have trained in either future life progression or the coaching, and they regularly ask us, do swaps or ask a question. A lot of expertise. I've had some amazing people come and train with me, so they've all got great expertise. So that's worked out really, really good. Really, really nice to have so many clever people, and some of them have got skills that I haven't got, and now and again I'll collaborate. In fact, I'm collaborating with several in the near future. One contacted me today about some corporate work. Another one, we're working with addictions, putting on addictions program, because the slipping around in time can change a lot of things. You know, the coaching is primarily business, helping people shape up, really sharpen their business. But in general, we can use it for weight loss, trauma, clearing trauma, building a stronger future. We use it for lots of things.
Wow, that's interesting. So how would you, without going too deep into it, I don't want to, like, you know, but like with trauma, for instance, how would you work it? Like going, obviously you're going to go into the future with them. So I'm just intrigued though.
I'll tell you what happened. I was experimented with going a long way in the future. I wanted to connect with myself a long way in the future, like 1,000 years or more. And that took me a long time. A long time before I started to get anything back. I think it was because what I was asking was too stupid to answer. We're so evolved in 1,000 years. They're thinking, oh, I don't know, she might go away.
Yeah, exactly.
But it really is. Imagine past you sitting in a cave and they start asking you questions. You go, no, mate, that's not what you need. No, this is, you know, they're so advanced in 1,000 years. We are so advanced in 1,000 years. So I wasn't finding the right communication. And then when I did start to communicate with my far, some people are going to think this is mad, aren't they? When I did start to communicate with my far distant future self, it was really interesting, because the question I had is, what do we need to know now? If you're 1,000 years in the future, what do we need to know now? And the answer came back, you people get stuck and you don't clear it. And I said, we do. Everybody's got one thing that they're stuck. It might be money or health, or always getting bullied, or relationship problems. And it's patterns repeat. And I said, we go for therapy and we read the book and we do this. Everybody, they can enhance their lives a lot, but everybody seems to have one thing. And what they said was, you don't find the original source. And I know a lot of hypnotherapists talk about going back, but the original source could be ancestral. It could be past life. It could be childhood. So I was helped to develop a technique where you take people to find where was the absolute origin. How it was explained to me was, imagine a small child and he's playing with his little truck, and a huge spider runs over his hand and really frightens him. Every time after that, he gets a little bit of fear, and it gets worse over the years. So by the time he's 25, tiny little spider across the room, and he panics, got no idea, he doesn't remember the original, but he panics. It's irrational, doesn't make sense, but he panics. So he starts having therapy, and they take him back to the time he remembers when he was 12 and the time when he was 8. Doesn't remember the original. So you take him back to the original time. So imagine that's a brick wall. You've got the original brick when it first happened, and every time there's like another incident of panic with the spider, another brick in the wall goes in. Taking out a brick here and a brick here. You take out that keystone, that first brick, and the whole wall comes down. That's how it was explained to me. So we find the original and we clear it. We might do cord cutting. It's like,
and you're essentially going into the past for that, obviously. Because I was confused. I was thinking, how would it work going into the future? It's just me, and don't worry.
I know, I love going. I mainly spend my time in the future.
In the future, yeah, but obviously, yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
I think we need to now, because I've been saying to people, and they look at me as if I'm mad, but I tell you, the change we've had in the last 20 years has been more than the previous 100.
Yeah.
The next 5 years, we're going to see far more change than we've seen in the last 20. And people starting to suffer with future shock. Now, I read about future shock back in the 80s, and I was absolutely obsessed with it. I mean, I kept reading Alvin Toffler's books. And in case anybody, I'm sure you all know, but I'll just, in case you don't, Alvin Toffler, way back in the early 80s.
Write his name down.
Alvin Toffler, yeah. I've read everything. I'm gonna start to reread it because it was so fascinating.
Was this before your future life progression?
Oh, yeah.
So they were presenting that for you, weren't they? Go on, sorry.
I tell you why. I think it resonated with me because when I was in my teens, I went to India. Yeah. And you got to remember I think it was 1970 I went, so it was a long time ago. But we suffered culture shock because now we're used to different cultures, but I'd never eaten foreign food. I hadn't even had spaghetti bolognese. I didn't eat for the first week. It's just going, oh my God. I mean, but we had mince on Monday, sausages on Tuesday. You know how it was back then. You were younger than me, but it was just like, it got out there. We suffered culture shock. It was people did suffer, mainly when they first started flying, because they'd immediately find themselves somewhere which was so different, suffer culture shock. Alvin Toffler, that guy was so clever. And he said, we're going to start suffering future shock, where the future comes at us so quickly, we don't cope. And I knew, just on some level, I thought, he's right. There weren't much change happening. There was a certain amount back early 80s, but not
nothing like the last 20 years, definitely.
Yeah. But I really resonated, and I think it's partly because I had suffered culture shock going somewhere else. You know, after a week, I found somebody to boil me an egg. I was pathetic. Just that I couldn't eat anything. I could not eat anything. There was nothing I could eat. It just, because it was so out of my realm of reality. I couldn't. And this is what's coming now. Yeah. So, but I also know for career, I feel for people, because you've really got to keep reinventing what you do. Just whatever industry. And this is the bit, people think it's not going to affect them. It doesn't matter. You could be really, I'll give you an example. One hypnotherapist I know, he's been going a lot of decades, really, really good. Usually got a full diary. He's had to go and do something else, because there's so many hypnotherapists out there. He said
the training courses are churning them out like a machine.
And what happens is that after a while it dies down, because they think they're going to build a big job out of it, and they don't. You know, a lot of people, it's like people training things and they fizzle out and go away and do something else. But every so often an area gets swamped. I mean, just with me, with tarot, there's probably one in your road. There's so many people.
Definitely saturated, isn't it?
Yeah, so many things are.
You can do a one-day course now and probably learn it, you know.
Say that again?
I know I've heard of like one-day courses. And
I can teach anyone in a couple of hours.
Really?
Oh. Yeah, I tell you why, because it's overcomplicated. If you work quite instinctively, if you break cards down, just tell you quick, because it's not about what we're talking about. 78 cards, but if you break it down, the 4 suits, they're just about different aspects. So you got cups are to do with love, buttons are to do with work. So you break down the 4 suits, so they just tell you the outline of what we're looking at. The court cards, kings and queens, etc. They're the players, they're the people. And the major arcana are the big events. So once you break it down, it's actually quite easy.
Keep it simple, stupid. That famous word, isn't it? KISS. I love it. Well,
yeah, it's great.
I'm going to ask you. You know, like at the moment, there's a lot of fear around AI and jobs, and you know, are they going to be doing? Because people are saying like in 10 years' time, AI is going to be doing most of these jobs. So I know there's a lot of fear. I've come across people who've talked about it, you know, online and stuff, and there seems to be like like that sort of shock aspect about that. What, I know, I don't know if I'm digressing here, but
I know it's a big subject for me. I go to an AI group, and Louise Baker also goes to this AI group once in a while, and they meet up, and they say only 1% of people really can see what's going to happen with AI or have any concept of just how much it's running our lives already. Yeah, I think it's more jobs are going to change. You've got to think of industrial revolution. People, it changed how people worked. It didn't stop people working. If anything, it provided more jobs. And Elon Musk seems to think we're going to need more workers than ever. It's just we're going to be doing less of we'll be doing different types of work. We need different areas of expertise. And he seems to think we'll need more people, whether he's right or not, is something else. I think it's going to change work very dramatically. I think it's going to change work. But I think some type driving jobs will go. That's an obvious one. The postman's going to go, bless them, but they are, just... We're not going to get... I like getting post. I like posting letters. I don't want them to go, but the banks are going.
I haven't posted a letter in years, and it's all emails like most people nowadays.
What about Christmas cards? What about birthday cards or Christmas cards? You must send them, do you?
Well, no, people even send them. They create one online and send it to them, don't they? So.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get... A friend of mine owns one of the card companies, and it's booming. People just go online, they do the posting for them. Yeah, no, I still post things.
Good for you, keeping it going.
Dinosaur.
Excellent. So I just want to sort of get on some of the finer details of so you actually use the technique of future life progression with the people, showing them how they can go forward in time to specific events. How do you get them to actually find that sweet spot of what they should really, that'd be best at doing? I'm just...
Maybe I should give you an outline of what we do with the coaching, because the first thing I do is look at the past. I'd start off by giving people a little questionnaire and what would you like to be better about your business? What change would you like to see in the next year? And I'm trying to see the weak points, because what we tend to do is avoid the bits we're not good at, or the bits we don't know. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know. So I kind of get them to answer a few questions. Then I take them on a journey to look at the last 2 years and find out what they wish had gone better. And that's really significant, because whatever didn't go as well as they liked probably still ain't going to go right in the next year. We tend to, so you kind of get a bit of a profile. Then I help them to really, we take them on a process to find their niche. What is your niche? Because we're running around I've done it most of my life, and I wish I'd have known all this decades ago. What is their actual niche? What area should they be working in? I get so many people go, well, I can help everybody. And I go, you're going to be poor. You're not going to get anywhere. It doesn't work like that. It really, really doesn't. You want to be known for something. So we find the niche. Then we find the major product. What is that product? It could be a technique. It could be a book. It could be a modality. What is it? It could be a series of videos. What is your amazing thing that's going to be a game changer? And people always say, well, I've got this idea, I've got this, and I've done that. I mean, any one day I could tell you probably 8 different things I could work with, and it gets overwhelming. And then we jump from one to the other, and when we do that, the energy scatters, we don't move forward. So when we find their major products, we then know what we're working with. Then we find the players, we find the tribe, and it can be the mentor, collaborators. Collaborating is really, really, we're in the time of collaboration more than ever before. Absolutely. And I'm finding successful people, when I ask people what they do, they rattle on for 10 minutes. They go, well, I do a bit of this, and I do, and I trained in that, and I do that magic rainbow woo-woo thing, and I do that. They tell you all this stuff. If I ask them the same thing, who do you admire? Now tell me what they do. They tell me in 5 words or less. So I get them to do that tell me in 5 words or less. What? Come on, tell me. Let's get you narrowed down. We find their collaborators, their mentors, their followers. We define the whole thing. Then we go and actually get the energy from the future. What does that feel like when you're out there and you've got everything working? So it's like a process we do. So with individuals, I usually work with them once a week for 6 weeks, or with the coaches. I was doing it over 6 weeks, taking them through the program, but I found it better over 3 days.
Wow.
3 days, and just really, really go right into it. Get everybody working on each other, trying out all the techniques. That seems to work really well.
So you're sort of revolutionizing coaching in a sense.
Oh, I hope so. I like the sound of that, because I like the sound of revolutionising it. The thing is, I just think coaching now, and I've got coaches. I think everybody needs a coach, don't they? We all need a coach. Coaching from where we are now doesn't work so well because we soon go out of date. Oh, Sifu's here, Boggy. Hello, Boggy. You know Boggy?
I don't know her. Bless her.
He's got a great show. Cynthia's here. Hi, Cynthia.
Hi, Cynthia.
I see names pop up. My friends are popping up. Hello.
Hey, please.
See, I love working with the coaching. Cynthia's trained with me, actually. It's really, I think, trying to coach. I've got coaches, but coaching from where we are now isn't moving us forward, unfortunately. I think we've got a fast track. We're in the time when you have to move fast. You can't buck about. You can't faff about all day. You can't spend 6 months on the next course. It isn't going to take you where you want to. You've got to kind of go into that future, find the ultimate you with the business success, then come back, then go, right, where do I go now? How do I set? And get rid of everything that isn't part of that. And that's painful. I mean, when people go, I really want to go and play with crystals. I just did this. I want to go and play with crystals. And one girl, I spent an hour with her, defining everything. Absolutely found her niche, which is perfect for her. She's got experience. She's got life experience. She suffered with something. She built a brilliant program. She's got everything set up. And just we went, right, that's what you're going to do. You're going to get rid of everything else. You go, wow, am I put on this crystal course? I mean, no. Work your big thing. Just really focus on your big thing. Focus on your big thing. And that's it. Getting people, if I ask you what does Tony Robbins do or Richard Bandler, you can tell me immediately what they do. And that's what we got to get to with the people. So I love talking to people about their business. And so for me, it's a real pleasure because I love talking to people about their business. I really, really find it exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
It sounds amazing, honestly. It's
good. Oh, that's good to know.
It is. I'm going to take this point. We've got quite a few people watching. If anyone's got any questions for Anne, very welcome to put them in, and I'll put them on the screen so she can read them and answer any questions you've got. So intuition, Anne. This has got quite a lot to do with it as well, hasn't it? Intuition. Is that right? Yeah. So I've got to tell you a little story about me, right? Because I had an idea, to set up this business, and it just felt so right, and I did it, and it never worked out. No, it's still going. It's still there. It's probably because it's really interesting. I had all this energy, and it was like I was just fired up for it. It kept on going and going and going. I knew that this was something different. And then when I'd done it all, I sort of let it go. So it was almost like the journey of setting it all up. And that was like what I was getting from it or learning from it, because I learned a lot from that. Maybe that's what it was. But it's still available to me. It's still there.
There you go.
But I was a bit disappointed because it felt so right. And I was a bit disappointed that nothing come of it. But I can only blame myself for that. Really?
Why would you blame yourself for that? What do you think you missed?
Once I'd set it all up, I sort of pulled away from it. I don't understand why I did that. You see what I mean? So, interesting.
That is actually quite common. I'll tell you one of the things I find a lot in today. When you get the intuition, it's quite exciting.
Yes.
We're very much told, do work that you're passionate about, do work that excites you, do work that you love. But the thing is, when you've been working a long time, the passion does wear off, and you get shitty days, you get tough days, you get hard days. So what are you going to do then? And so what therapists tend to do is go off and find something else. That's why they're always jumping to the next course. They find something else a bit. Oh, my friend's doing that. It sounds really exciting. Rather than the actual building of a business can be boring. It can be tough. You can feel useless when you don't know what you're doing. You can have the bits that go wrong. You know, it's like technology. I think most of us just go, you know, I've had bad days with that side of things, or just don't know what to do. My generation just don't. So when you get to the tough bits, that's when you build a business, but we don't. And so we have the intuition, and we love the creative. We're right brains. We love all the creativity, setting it up.
I'm on there with the creativity, absolutely.
And we bail out when we got to do the sensible stuff, don't we?
and for me, I hadn't really ever been that creative in that respect before. So wow, you know, I mean, I've got to be honest. Although I was a little bit disappointed, I'm very pleased I did it, because I learned so much about video editing and all of those things I never learned before. You know. Which I assume is going to, you know, be in my life now, because I'll be able to use it.
Well, I hope you pick that idea up again.
Well, yeah, I think I'm going to. I mean, it's an online business, so it's one of the businesses where people buy something online, you know, so it's like an online business. So I could make sales while I'm sleeping, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's great.
Like any business, you know what it's like, and you know, you've got to throw a lot of energy into it, and you've got to get rid of all the crap that you were saying and be pretty much like totally focused on that.
You do have to work hard. I think one thing people don't realise just how hard you have to work. I mean, one of the things I often say is look at people who you'd see as at the top and notice they still promote, they still collaborate, they're still working long hours. I always remember Joan Rivers saying, I'm in an airport at 3 a.m. waiting for a flight in an empty airport. And she was in her 80s then. She was still out there really, really working hard. And you do have to work that hard when you want to build something new. It's like a plane taking off, massive amount of effort. Once it's there, you still got to talk about it and promote and get the energy out there. But that initial bit is a lot of work. And then, but there's bits that might not work. I mean, with the, I did a soft launch with the coach in the first two, just to get the feedback to see, then I can tidy it up and strengthen it. So I've given them all the opportunity to come back on again to a tighter version for free. But luckily it was 95%, you know, went really well. But there was the odd bit where I thought that needs changing, that needs tidying up. Building a business is a lot of work. It really is a lot of work. And you've got to keep your neck line, haven't you?
Commitment, yeah, you know, like the certain qualities you need, isn't it? You've got to be committed. You've got to have the drive, haven't you? And a lot of people don't have that, and it could because of something in the past, which is what I love about the way you do your coaching. You know, you go into the past to find all the crap that, you know, potentially is going to slow them down, like things like you know. Being afraid of succeeding and stuff like that, you know, they're not even aware of it.
I think there's a lot we don't know. When I look back over my work, and people have pointed things out, I've just been, what? I've had no idea that there was things I needed to be doing that I weren't doing. We don't know what we don't know. And I suppose for me, I love the coaching because I've been around a long time, made probably every mistake you can possibly, done it the hard way. And to be able to sit with somebody and show them, no, all you got to do is that. Oh, no, that'll work. And just be able to join the dots with people and say, no, just that is going to work brilliantly and really help them develop a program or what they need to do. It's really, really exciting. I mean, I just get such a buzz out working. Get
that. I mean, when you're working with people in therapy world, you know, like you might help them overcome a phobia, and it's nice that you've changed their life in that little way, but you're really changing their lives.
Yeah, but I've had it. We've all probably experienced it. I mean, when I was on the NLP training, I always remember one of the presenters up there said, "Oh, we'll get you up on stage, you know, and on Snake and Spider Day." And I went, I ain't getting up there. I'm not. And they say, you don't like snakes and spiders, so I can't get on stage. I could not talk in front of people. I couldn't. That held me back. That probably held me back 20 years. Getting on stage made me feel ill. Even if the audience was like 6 people, it made me feel ill. I really would. You know, when you go to a meeting and then one of them says, "Look, each of you introduce yourself," I would sit there and be thinking, "Ooh."
I can see how that could hold you up. I mean, I see it because I was talking to you before we came live. It's something I've discovered about myself, and I love doing it. And it's really going to help me because, you know, if you're on a stage and you're talking, you do get some sort of, you know, like, what's the word? But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can really understand how that could really hold you back, you know.
I was so scared. Honestly, my heart would come through my chest. My mouth would go dry. And one of the presenters, I said, I can't get on stage, it makes me ill. Called over one of the assistants and said, clear that within 4 minutes. 4 minutes. And it went and never came back. I mean, 4 minutes. You know, so when people pull a face at NLP, I go, look,
it does happen, though, Anne. It does happen. It does happen. You know, some people that like 3 or 4 sessions, some people 3, 4 or 5 minutes.
Well, all she did was took the panic and span it the other way, take it out. The most basic technique.
Yeah. It's a great technique, that is. I use that a lot, actually.
Very basic. I tell you what, I just went, I'm all right. It's gone. I'm all right. And I was like, but somebody then called out, you get tested, don't you? A few days later, somebody called me up and said, we want you to come give a tour. I agreed. When I got out, I thought, this is 30 people. As I walked in, cameras are set up. They're filming me. 250 people, 250. And I had all my notes because I take loads of notes. I always have loads of notes because I'm scared I won't have enough to say, even though I never shut up. I always get enough. It's true. And then there was nowhere to put the notes. I had to put them. There was no podium. I just had to stand there and talk for an hour and a half off the top of my head. So, NLP. But yeah, therapists can make a huge difference. And for me, because I've found when the odd person's come along and helped me or given me some advice or guided me in some way, the difference it's made to me to be able to pass that on and work with people and bring them out, especially in this changing time. I've got so many people that worked hard for so long, and all of a sudden they're hitting a wall, and to be able to help them be where they should be, all that experience, get them out there, it's wonderful. It's just so lovely.
Yeah, no, it must feel fantastic, to be fair. That's I think that's why people get into therapy as well, you know, or any sort of that sort of line of work. Because you're creating a ripple, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a wonderful thing. It really is.
One of the ways I look at it is that imagine something you wasn't good at 10 years ago. You wasn't good at it, but now you're good at it and you find it quite easy and you're skilled. Imagine if you could go back and get your past self to feel what that feels like. You'd have done it much quicker. We're doing it the other way. We're going into the future, going, I'm good at this. I can do this. Yeah, this is successful.
I want to say fucking fantastic. I'm going to use a swear word for it because it's like, I want to use it. It's like, oh my God, this sounds like incredible. I was going to ask you also, someone like me, right? Someone like, for instance, hypnotizes me. Yeah? I go very relaxed, but if they're going to try and stick my hand to a table, it ain't going to work. It's never worked. Yeah. I'm not a somnambulist, you know. It's like they're the ones that go up on the stage on the hypnosis shows because the hypnotist knows they're going to be very suggestible. Yeah. So I assume you're using hypnosis with the future life progression or a form of meditation. Is it hypnosis?
It's all the same thing, really. It's an interesting point you're making. I've been hypnotized by the 3 best in the world. If I was to ask most people who are the 3 best, I've been hypnotized. And I still have one eye open half the time. I'm not a relaxed person. I don't like being relaxed.
I go relaxed, but I just, you know, as soon as you start saying your hand's stuck to I'm like, nah, it's not, you know, maybe that's me, but.
The thing is, you don't need to be in some deep.
I wanted to ask you because, like, obviously, you don't need to get to that stage where your hand's going to stick to the table. It's like a state of relaxation as such. which is like meditation as well. It's all similar, like you said, I believe, anyway.
It is similar. I'm rubbish at meditation. I've worked in the spiritual field all these years, and I'll always get an itchy foot. I'm just not somebody. I just don't sit still. I'm just not good at it. But I can listen to a meditation tape and have a lot of things come to me. I think it's almost a myth that you've got to be deep. Most people I work with, I don't actually like them being too deep. I want to be able to really communicate with them. I want them to still have their awareness. So I don't take people all that deep. I just take them into a nice, relaxed state and get their mind to free flow.
I'm going to have to try it one day, Anne, because I'd be intrigued, you know.
Let's do it. Contact me. Let's do this.
Yeah, it'd be good. Because I'd love to be able to go into the future. Definitely. You'd be crazy not to, wouldn't you? Because like you said, you know, if you could discover something you're really good at in the future now, you know.
Yes, yeah, so supposing the idea you had for that business is booming in the future. Supposing you say,
exactly that, or in another bloody universe somewhere. You know,
you might be missing a trick there.
I think I have an idea what I've got to do it's just putting the work in. But like everybody, like what you were saying before, I have so many balls I'm juggling. I'm like, which one? And that's what you do. You take people to a point where they know which one is the best one.
100%. And once you know that one thing and you put all your energy and focus into that one thing, amazing things start to happen. It starts to really open up, the ideas flow. I've done it myself. If I went back in time, I wouldn't be jumping around so many different things. I would definitely focus, put all my energy into the right place. You look at people who just look at somebody like Steve Jobs, total focus, almost obsessive focus on what he did. And that's why he achieved so much. And he left Apple and he went back and had over 40 products. And he looked at each of those products and he went, every one of them is amazing, and knocked all of them off the table except for 4. And he went, we're only working with these 4. He said, they're all brilliant, but if we launch all them products, we're going to have a mess. Everything.
It makes sense.
Yeah, and that's the genius of it. And it is the Mark Zuckerberg, and people hate all these people that have done very well, but you can learn a lot from them. And he says, move fast, break things. And that's the time we're in. Don't wait till you're perfect. Just get in there. Just really focus. This is one thing I do with my clients. No, we're just going to get this done. We're going to fast track it. Forget everything else. It's like that last book, Future Vision. I spent.
I'm going to buy that. Actually, I was on Amazon before.
Oh, Future Vision.
Which one to buy? I wasn't sure which one to buy because you got a few. I should buy them all really because there's a good deal on buying them all.
Check out Future Vision because that might resonate with you with your idea.
That's the one I've written down.
Yeah. Have a look. It's about the future of work. The future of work's going to keep changing. That's how it starts.
That's your latest one, is it? Your latest.
Sorry?
It's your latest book, isn't it?
That is, but I have got a latest book out. It's okay. This
power of manifesting.
Yeah. Well, what happened was I actually wrote that. Somebody said 14 years ago. I wrote that a long time ago, and it came out as Cosmic Energy. And the publisher contacted me recently. This is when you're working in the future. This is the sort of thing that happens. They said it's such a hot topic now. We want to re-release it as a manifesting book because it is all about making things happen. So I haven't had to do any work, but I've got a book out in UK, America, New Zealand, Australia. They're very good on overseas, so it'll probably go out to a few other countries. And I haven't had to do any work. They've adapted it. Yeah, but that's working in the future. You're always a bit ahead of yourself. It's really useful. So that's my latest book, but really the last one I wrote is Future Vision, and it's packed with the techniques and strategies.
I'm going to order it as soon as we're finished. Definitely, I'm looking forward to it. Actually,
yeah. But after Easter, give me a shout, and we'll do you a session. It'd be interesting.
Actually, it would because I've got a feeling. You know, you have feelings that things are really changing for me at the moment, especially with doing a public speaking stuff because that's so unusual. I've never done it before, and I can see the potential of that. But like a part of me keeps saying to me, Dave, for fuck's sake, sit down and meditate. And which in a sense is sort of, you know, I could maybe, you know, connect with something, you know, like, so I'm definitely going in that direction. So that's really good. Really good.
It's a good idea. I mean, as I say, I can't sit there and empty my mind because it runs 100 miles an hour. But I can listen to a meditation recording and find that quite useful. And I will pick up certain things if I sit still long enough. I find it useful. I will pick things up, and every so often I get one of the practitioners to take me into the future because I need to know what countries are going to be very active for me. So I do actually get them to take me forward now and again.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's good.
And is the Akashic, if I'm saying it correctly? Because I was at a Mind Body Spirit fair a couple of weeks ago, and there was a lady that did a talk, and I went up and had a listen because I'd heard a lot about the Akashic records.
Yeah.
And we did a little meditation, only a little one, you know, like 10-minute one, where she sort of took you to I don't know, I can't even remember. It was that good. I can't remember it that well. But anyway, the reason I'm mentioning this is that something. Is it related? Like, are you when you take people?
I have taught Akashic records, but I put this nearer to remote viewing. The American government, as you know, have done the remote viewers can mind travel. So I'm looking more
differently. Yeah.
Yeah, I've worked with the Akashic records, and I think it's a good way of accessing whether it really is Akashic records or whether it's just our interpretation of the information we're receiving. We do get very good information from working with that. I have put a lot of this work I do more in the Middle East, but I've taken the Akashic records several times out to the Middle East. But I like more the thought of mind travel. It's like Professor Rupert Sheldrake said, your brain is inside your skull, but your mind can go anywhere, and it can go into the past or the future. It can see what's happening. This is how telepathy works. We can mind travel. That makes a lot of sense to me.
What do you think about? I mean, I came across this concept, this idea, obviously somewhere. I don't think it was mine, but it was like in this very moment now, I've been born. I've done everything in my life, and I've actually also died right now. Does that make any sense to you?
Say that again.
There's no time. There is no time.
It's
so like
really...
right now, I've died right now, and I've been born right now, and I've done everything I've ever done right now.
Yeah.
But the idea of time being like a human construct of time appears to be time, but it's all happening now, and that's why I'm thinking when you go into the future,
is it already happening? Are you remembering the future?
Now, you see what I mean?
It's a really difficult one because people say it's man-made time, and I go, well, we have seasons and night and day. That's passages of time. So I've got a list of quotes back at the office, and they would make you laugh because they're the greatest living minds. And every one of them has a different way of saying, I ain't got a bloody clue how it works. Every single one of them. Niels Bohr said, I wish I'd never had anything to do with it. Einstein said, if you think you understand it, you're kidding yourself. You don't. They've all got quotes to say nobody knows how time works. All they know is it's not linear. In one of my kind of meditations, I was showing it's almost like a piece of licorice, and you're just I'm going to keep going off camera fidgeting about, and it was if you got a light bit of licorice, but you can also bend it over, twist it round. So I think time's quite malleable, and I think that's what Einstein was getting at, saying it was relative, because it does seem to go faster when you're having a good time and slow when you're waiting for the bank manager and you're nervous and you've been sitting there and you go, he's left me sitting there for 20 minutes and it's 3 minutes. But time runs at different speeds in different places, and that's something to really hard to get your head around. So if you're at the top of a very, very, very tall building with a clock and I'm at the bottom, which way round is it? The bottom one goes slower, the higher up one goes quicker, or is it the other way around? I can't remember. Time doesn't run at the same pace.
No, it doesn't.
Everywhere, and that is weird to get your head.
That is proper interesting. I've come across that a few times because I'm interested in all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, gravity affects time. It's bizarre.
So, like again, for people watching, it might be interesting for them. But when you take someone into the future, it appears that it's already happened.
I don't know, because to me we got options, so it's almost if it's laid out in front of us.
Reflection of options, potentiality,
Potentials, yeah.
reflection.
I think there's possible futures. One of the exercises I do is get people to look, and there's all these different pathways and roads, and then we find the absolute best one, the absolute best, where they make all the right moves, believe in themselves. Let's find the absolute best. Look at that one. But we've all got, you've seen people, you've probably worked with people, and they've got everything in front of them, and they sabotage it. We all see people sabotage. But the option was there. They could have walked through and had that great life. They mess it up. So the fella comes along, he's met a lovely girl, he really likes her, and he messes her about. He doesn't know why, and then he blows it and she marries somebody else. We all do it. I've got people I've really, really backed up, put them on the right path, done a lot of work, and they don't show up for the job, or they've gone into a business meeting and just turned up and been rude to somebody, or they've done something to blow it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But that path was there for them. So I think there is options. And I think we can slipstream onto that path. But it takes self-belief and knowing the right path. We've got to know it. That's why I like doing what I do. Let's find out the information, but then let's get what's different about that other you that does it. That's the key thing, isn't it? What's different about that other you?
Yeah. Well, what I like about what you do is you go into their past and sort all the shit out, potential sabotage and all that sort of stuff, so that they're a bit more freer to actually move into that beautiful.
Most of the time it's enough to just take them to a future where they've overcome, where you've overcome, where you think of, as I say, you 10 years ago, something you're really good at now. 10 years ago, if I'd have brought you to straight that, you'd have just settled into it. You'd have felt what it felt like, and it's gone, it's good. I like this. I'm really enjoying this. I'm good at it. You were less liable to sabotage. You're less liable to, once you've really experienced.
You are. Once you know, like I've often thought, if I knew that was going to happen in the future, I would go all out on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody's asked any questions, have they?
So no, I can't believe it. It's like, what's going on? But there you go. That's the way it is. That is the way it is sometimes.
Right. Well, maybe Agent 8. Hi, Agent 29. There's a mad thing between me and Boggy. He's Agent 29.
I love that when you have those little things between people. It's sweet. It's really nice.
You'll have to get Boggy on your show. He does.
Yeah. Boggy, if you're still watching, love to have you on. What's she do then? Is it a lady or a man? Or a lady?
Boggy. No, it's a fella. He's really good. I love his show. I've always said it's my favourite show to go on, but I didn't want to say that because I'm on your show. But I love his show.
That's all right. I don't mind. That's all right. Oh, well, I'm not going to out for him then. So how do I find Boggy then?
I'll put you in touch with each other. But first time I went on his show.
Is he on YouTube then?
Boggy, put your send over your. I'll send you over Boggy's details. And I'm going to go up. He's in Lincolnshire, in this incredible place. I'm going to go up and do some work up there. It'd be amazing. We need a catch up, but we need a proper catch up.
Catch up a little bit.
He's got fabulous energy. Yeah, he's got amazing. Just the energy moves around. Brilliant stuff. Yeah, really, really good. Yeah,
that's
really
the beautiful thing about the work we do. We do meet some really wonderful, beautiful souls, don't we? You know.
Yeah.
You opposite as well, but yeah, definitely. So I just want to let's just talk about some important things, like, because we'll be probably wrapping up soon. I don't want to keep you too long. So your training, inhibition training normally lasts about 3 days. That's what you've
3 days, but I'll kind of keep in touch and send out more info and back it up a lot.
Yeah, of course. The initial training, is this in-house? Is it face-to-face, this sort of training, or is it online?
I've done it so far online, but I will be going out to Holland and various French-speaking countries to teach. So it's a bit of both. I've just taught it out in Dubai last month, a few weeks ago. I taught it out just over a month ago. I taught in Dubai. So it's either. I can do either. If there's a group, I can show up to that.
I get it with the online. You can reach more people, you know.
Well, that's you know, that last one I did. I had somebody from China, Philippines, you know, Canada. They're coming from all over, and they wouldn't be able to fly into London. Sometimes,
no.
You know, work and money and everything else. It's accessible for people who
for that, definitely. You know, and that's one of the great things that came out of COVID. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I just want to remind people about your books as well. And you've written several books.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read them out. Instant Intuition, Cosmic Energy, Create Your Perfect Future, Power of Manifestation. Yeah, they're the latest ones. Is there any I've missed out?
Yeah. The Future is Yours is number 2.
And is that the one you want? Is that the one you suggested to me?
No, Future Vision, Your Working Life.
Future Vision, Your Working Life. Yeah,
that's the last book I wrote, and that's one where I very much show people strategies they need. It's packed with exercises and strategies, so people can sit there and work through it, and they work. I'm
definitely going to go. I'm going to order it straight after this, and if anyone's watching the recording, I suggest you do the same because it sounds incredible. And obviously, people can get hold of you at the website on the screen. Hopefully, I'll put that on.
Yeah,
there.
And Jirsch.
The website, all the info's on there. You got the sort of corporate sessions. You offer that, don't you? Go into companies, individual, obviously the group training, and also your future like progression trainings on there as well.
Yeah.
So everything's there. Is there anything that you think that is important that we've missed that you want to mention before we wrap it up? Or?
What I would say is, look, I go to that AI group now and again, and they say things that I've been saying for many, many years. Now, they've had speakers there. One of the speakers has been voted only second to Elon Musk. So these people are really smart, and people have no idea what's happening. You've got to be looking to the future and working backwards. You don't think doing what you're doing now, it's going to change, and be aware and be thinking ahead, be thinking about how you can kind of own some little bit of territory for you, just own something. And people say about niche down. Yes, being general, you're just one of a noise. There's just so much noise out there. Everybody doing the same stuff. We really just find you. Use the book. If you don't come for a session or train, get the book. Don't cost a lot, and just find that the best bit about you, and be looking at the future and stand out by being so special and believing in yourself. Don't hang around with doubts. We have doubts. Don't just do it. Just go for it, because it's going to be an exciting ride, but the world's going to change so much, and I want you to be ahead of the game. That's the main thing.
We don't want to be left behind. We don't want to be left behind.
No, definitely not.
I love it. And look, it's been an absolute pleasure and an honor to have you on the show again. You came back, man. I don't believe it.
It's been really good fun, and I'll talk to you again. But contact me after Easter. Let's do a session. It'll be fun.
I will do. But I'll just say we'll be on for a second when we finish anyway, Anne. But I just want to say to everyone, thank you for watching. If you get a chance to like and subscribe on the YouTube channel, if you're watching it on the YouTube channel, that would be amazing. And we've got some other exciting, brilliant guests coming on in the future. So it's all exciting. And thank you for watching. Bye, everybody.
Take care now.